Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, is this still okay, as you grow older? It's something we don't always think about, right? You might be enjoying life, living your routine, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, you wonder, when it comes to the things we do in our daily lives, especially the most personal habits, are there things that we should be paying more attention to as we get older? Particularly when it comes to sexual health. After 60 or 70, should we be worried about the habits that once felt natural? Is what once felt fine still safe? As we age, our bodies change in ways we might not expect, and sometimes, these changes can be subtle, hard to notice at first. But here's the thing, understanding how these changes affect every aspect of our health, even our most intimate moments, can make a huge difference in how we live out these years. And yes, I'm talking about things that might be uncomfortable to think about, things like masturbation. If you're in your 60s or 70s and still engaging in this habit, there are a few things you absolutely need to know to stay healthy and avoid unnecessary risks. It's not just about the act itself, it's about being aware of how your body has evolved and making choices that are best for you. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how sexual health really changes with age. You'll know about the risks tied to certain habits as you get older and, most importantly, you'll walk away with the tools and knowledge to stay safe and healthy, allowing you to live a full and active life without compromising your well-being. Because you deserve to feel empowered, not worried, about your health at any age. If you're here because you care about your own health, or maybe you're looking out for a loved one's well-being, drop a "I'm ready to learn" in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more valuable content on elderly care. Let's start this journey together and make sure we're all well informed about the things that matter as we grow older. Sign number 1, the physical impact of aging on sexual health. Imagine this, you're a 70-year-old man. You've been through decades of life, raising a family, building a career, and perhaps even experiencing the ups and downs of relationships. But one day, as you engage in an intimate moment with yourself, something feels different. You realize it's taking longer to get aroused. Maybe there's a dull pain in the lower abdomen, or you just don't feel the same level of pleasure that you once did. You start wondering, is this just normal aging, or is something wrong with me? Here's the reality, as we get older, our bodies change. And these changes aren't just about wrinkles or gray hair. They affect every part of us, even the most intimate areas. For many men, there's a gradual decline in their libido, and for some, that means sexual function just isn't the same as it used to be. A few things happen when we age. Testosterone levels naturally decrease, which is one of the primary hormones responsible for sexual desire and function. This decrease can make arousal take longer, and, for some, it can lead to erectile dysfunction. What might have been easy and spontaneous in the past suddenly feels like a challenge, and that can be frustrating. As we get older, our bodies experience a variety of hormonal shifts. Testosterone, the key hormone that helps regulate sexual health in men, starts to decrease as early as in our 30s and 40s. By the time we reach 60 or 70, those levels can be significantly lower. This decline in testosterone can result in reduced libido, and for many, it's a contributing factor to erectile dysfunction. But there's more. Our blood flow decreases, which means it can take longer to become aroused. This reduced circulation is a normal part of aging, but it can also affect sexual performance. The tissues that once felt sensitive to touch or stimulation might now seem less responsive, which can impact satisfaction. Here's the thing. Many people believe that sexual dysfunction is simply a part of getting older. And yes, it's true that aging does come with physical changes that might impact our sexual lives. But that doesn't mean we should just accept it without a fight. It's common for people to dismiss these changes, thinking, oh, it's just age. There's nothing I can do about it. But ignoring these signs can lead to bigger problems down the road. For instance, pelvic pain might be a signal that there's more going on, like an issue with the prostate, which is something a lot of men don't realize until it's too late. And when you experience pain or discomfort, it's not just about sexuality, it can be a sign of an underlying health condition that needs attention. So, what should you do if you're noticing these changes? The first thing is, don't ignore them. If something feels off, it's important to pay attention to your body. The best thing you can do is consult with a healthcare professional. They can guide you through the physical changes you're experiencing and help you manage them in a way that improves your quality of life. A simple checkup could provide answers or even recommend treatments that can help. It's also crucial to stay active. Exercise helps keep your blood flow in good shape and can support your hormone levels. Plus, staying active physically can help your mental health, which is a big part of maintaining a healthy sexual life as you age. Now that we've discussed the physical changes and how they can impact your sexual health, let's shift gears a bit. We've focused on the body, but let's not forget about the mind. These changes affect not just your body, but also your mental well-being. So, next, we're going to talk about how aging can impact your emotional and mental health when it comes to intimacy. Sign number 2, mental and emotional health considerations. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't always get the attention it deserves, your mental and emotional well-being. Picture Jane, a 68-year-old woman, who's still engaging in masturbation. She's been doing this for years, and for the most part, she feels like she's in good health. But recently, something's been different. It's not the physical side of things, it's the emotional side. Jane notices that she's been feeling more isolated, more detached from her emotions. She doesn't feel as connected to herself or to the world around her as she used to. When she's alone, she feels like there's an emptiness, even when engaging in activities that used to bring her joy. Now, this isn't just something Jane is going through. It's something many people experience as they age. You see, when we age, it's not just our bodies that change, our emotional landscape shifts too. Loneliness and depression can sneak up on us, especially when we find ourselves isolated, whether that's from a lack of social interaction, the loss of a partner, or just a sense of disconnect from the world. And here's the thing, these emotional struggles can have a direct impact on sexual health. When we're feeling down, disconnected, or withdrawn, our libido often takes a hit. It's not just a matter of feeling off. It's our mind and body working together, and when one is off balance, the other often follows. As we age, there are some key changes in our emotional and mental health that can exacerbate physical issues. The brain, just like the rest of our body, undergoes changes with age. We experience shifts in our hormone levels, such as a decrease in estrogen and testosterone, which aren't just related to physical functions, they also influence mood and emotional stability. This can make you feel more vulnerable to feelings of sadness, anxiety, or loneliness. Now, these emotional shifts can be challenging enough, but they also impact sexual health. Studies show that when depression or loneliness sets in, it can lower sexual desire and affect the ability to feel pleasure. This is why it's important to understand the deep connection between emotional health and sexual health, especially as we get older. It's incredibly common to dismiss emotional changes as just a part of getting older. People might think, oh, it's just a phase, or I'm just getting old, that's normal. But here's the thing. Emotional health is as important as physical health, if not more. If you're feeling isolated, disconnected, or just emotionally drained, don't brush it off. Many individuals think that feeling lonely or down is inevitable as we age, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Emotional distress can manifest in many ways. One of which is a reduced interest in intimacy or a shift in how you experience pleasure. And ignoring these feelings can lead to a downward spiral, making things harder emotionally, physically, and even sexually. So, what can you do about it? First of all, take your emotional well-being seriously. If you're noticing that you feel more isolated or emotionally distant, it's important to address it. Speaking with a therapist or counselor can be a game changer. Therapy isn't just for major life crises. It can help you process your feelings and reconnect with your emotions, and that's something that can directly improve your sexual health. Another thing to consider is finding ways to connect with others, whether it's through social groups, volunteering, or simply reaching out to old friends. These connections can create a sense of belonging and boost your overall mood, which in turn, can positively impact your sexual health. And let's not forget the power of hobbies. Taking up activities you enjoy, whether it's gardening, painting, or dancing, can help you re-engage with life and bring emotional fulfillment. So, instead of letting emotional struggles take the lead, actively seek ways to nurture your mental health. Now that we've talked about the mental and emotional side of things, it's important to recognize that aging doesn't just affect how we feel, it also affects how we handle physical exertion. So, let's dive into how changes in our body's physical capacity can impact sexual health as we age. Sign number 3. Increased risk of injuries or strains. Now, let's shift gears and talk about something that's often overlooked when it comes to intimacy as we age, the increased risk of injuries or strains. Imagine a man who's in his late 60s or early 70s, someone who's had a few falls in his older years. Maybe he's slipped on a wet floor or tripped while walking. His body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. He's aware of how fragile things are now, but he still engages in masturbation. However, one day, during the act, he suddenly feels a sharp pain in his back. It's intense and catches him off guard. His first thought is, this never happened before. What's going on? Now, this may seem like an isolated incident, but it's actually more common than you might think. As we age, our bodies lose some of the resilience they once had. The simple truth is that aging affects our muscles, joints, and bones in ways that we don't always notice until it's too late. In this man's case, his body is no longer as flexible or as strong as it used to be, and the physical act of masturbation, especially if it involves any sudden movements or awkward positions, can put unnecessary strain on his back or other parts of his body. As we age, our muscles naturally lose mass and strength, and our flexibility decreases. This is due to a combination of factors, including hormonal changes and the natural wear and tear that occurs over time. Our bones also become less dense and more fragile, making us more susceptible to fractures. Now, these changes aren't just about being less active, they affect everything we do. When we engage in intimate activities, our bodies are still being exerted, and that means that physical stress, even in activities like masturbation, can result in injury. The more vigorous or awkward the movement, the higher the risk of strain, sprains, or even fractures. What was once a simple, natural act now requires a little more care, especially when your muscles and joints aren't as forgiving as they used to be. Many people don't realize just how much pressure the body can endure during intimate acts, especially as we get older. There's a common misconception that we're simply not as interested as we once were, or that physical intimacy isn't as much of a priority. But the truth is that we still engage in these activities, and they require energy and movement. What's even more surprising is that the risk isn't always obvious. Many people assume that if they don't feel pain immediately, there's no harm done. But when we engage in physical activities without being mindful of how our bodies are changing, we can easily injure ourselves. This is especially true if you're using positions or movements that are too strenuous or too forceful for your body. The real mistake many make is not adjusting the way they engage in these activities to suit their current physical needs. So, what's the solution here? First of all, pay attention to how your body feels. If you notice discomfort or pain, that's a clear sign that something's not right. It's crucial to be gentle with yourself. Consider incorporating light stretching or exercises that focus on improving flexibility and strength. Gentle stretches help maintain the flexibility in your muscles and joints, which is key to preventing injuries. Low-impact exercises like walking, swimming, or yoga can also keep your muscles strong and your body limber. These are simple, easy-to-do exercises that can help you maintain a healthier, more resilient body as you age. And when it comes to engaging in masturbation, it's important to pay attention to your posture and comfort. Avoid any positions that put undue pressure on your back, hips, or neck. Try to find a comfortable, supported position where you're not straining any part of your body. And if you experience any pain or discomfort during the act, don't ignore it. Make adjustments and, if needed, take a break. Taking the time to listen to your body is crucial for avoiding unnecessary strain. Strains and injuries are something to be mindful of as we age, but there's another important aspect of maintaining your sexual health that goes hand in hand with staying physically comfortable. It's not just about your body's capacity for physical exertion, it's also about how to maintain a healthy, fulfilling sex life without compromising your overall health. Let's talk about how we can do just that, next. Sign number 4. The role of medications and health conditions. Let's talk about another factor that can deeply affect sexual health as we age, medications and health conditions. Imagine George, a 65-year-old man who's been living with high blood pressure for years. He's always been active and healthy, but recently, something's changed. He's still on his blood pressure medication, but now he's noticing a difference in his energy levels and stamina. The vibrant man he once was is becoming a bit less energetic, and when it comes to intimacy, he's finding it harder to keep up. What's happening here? Is it just aging, or is there something more at play? Here's the thing, certain medications that are commonly prescribed as we age, like those for hypertension, diabetes, or even depression, can have significant side effects. Medications, especially ones that affect blood circulation or hormones, can interfere with sexual function. For George, his blood pressure medication is doing its job in controlling his hypertension, but it's also making it more difficult for him to get aroused or maintain stamina. This isn't unusual. Many medications come with side effects that impact libido or erectile function. This can be frustrating and often makes people feel like their vitality is slipping away, but it's crucial to understand that these side effects aren't necessarily permanent, and they don't have to define your sexual health. As we age, we often find ourselves needing medications to manage chronic health conditions, and these medications can have unintended effects on our sexual health. For example, medications for hypertension, like beta blockers or diuretics, are designed to control blood pressure, but they can also reduce blood flow to the genitals, leading to erectile dysfunction or decreased libido. Similarly, medications for diabetes or depression can affect hormone levels, nerve function, and even emotional well-being, all of which are essential for sexual health. When you're dealing with a chronic condition, it's not just the disease itself that matters, it's how the treatment interacts with your body's sexual response. Understanding this link is key to managing your health without feeling like you're losing your intimacy. Now, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that these side effects are just something you have to live with. Many people believe that sexual dysfunction is an inevitable consequence of aging or a result of the medication they're on, and they simply accept it as a part of life. But here's the truth, these side effects aren't unavoidable. What many don't realize is that there are ways to manage these issues. If you're experiencing sexual side effects from your medications, don't assume that's just the way it has to be. You can talk to your doctor about it, and there might be alternative medications or adjustments that can help. For example, some blood pressure medications may have less impact on sexual function, or your doctor may suggest ways to mitigate the side effects without sacrificing the effectiveness of your treatment. So what can you do if you're in a situation like George's, or if you're noticing similar issues with your own medication? First and foremost, be open with your doctor. If you're experiencing any sexual side effects, don't just suffer in silence. Share these concerns with your healthcare provider. They might be able to adjust your medication, suggest a different drug, or add a secondary treatment to address the side effects. There are also lifestyle changes you can make. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, and maintaining a healthy weight can all improve circulation and help reduce the impact of certain medications on your sexual health. In addition to speaking with your doctor, you might also consider discussing your sexual health with a specialist, such as a urologist or endocrinologist. These experts can offer insights into managing sexual dysfunction related to chronic conditions or medications. Remember, this isn't a topic to shy away from, it's important to address it head-on for your overall well-being. Now that we've explored the physical and medical aspects of sexual health and aging, let's turn our attention to something that's just as important: the social dynamics around intimacy as we age. It's not just about your body or the medications you take, it's also about how relationships, emotional connections, and the way we view intimacy evolve as we grow older. Let's dive into that next. Sign number 5. Changing social dynamics and relationships. Let's now look at a factor that can deeply affect intimacy as we age: our changing social dynamics and relationships. Meet Sophia, a 70-year-old woman who recently lost her partner. For years, intimacy was something shared with someone she loved deeply. But now, as she faces life on her own, Sophia finds herself thinking about intimacy more often than she ever did before. She's uncertain. She wonders if it's healthy to maintain her sexual habits alone. Without the emotional and physical connection she once had, she questions if she should just let these feelings go or if there's a way to continue in a way that's fulfilling and healthy. She isn't alone in this feeling. Many people in their later years struggle with similar questions. After the loss of a partner, or even after a long period of singlehood, the landscape of intimacy shifts. Intimacy is no longer defined by the presence of a romantic partner. It becomes more about how we engage with ourselves and the world around us. And while this shift can feel difficult, it doesn't mean intimacy has to disappear. The reality is that social relationships and emotional connections have a huge impact on your sexual health. Feeling connected to others, not just romantically, but socially, can help keep your libido alive and well. But when we experience isolation, whether through loss or physical distance, it can lower our desire for intimacy. The good news is, there are ways to navigate this new chapter of life and still maintain a healthy sexual life, even if it's in a different form than before. Research shows that social connections are crucial for maintaining not just emotional well-being, but physical health too. When we have strong relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, we experience a sense of belonging and emotional support, which directly affects our sexual health. When we're isolated, though, our libido can decrease. It's not just about being alone physically, but emotionally as well. Emotional intimacy is just as important for maintaining sexual function. In fact, studies have found that individuals in happy, fulfilling relationships are more likely to report better sexual health, including stronger desire and more satisfying experiences. And even for those without a romantic partner, maintaining social bonds, engaging in meaningful activities, and staying connected can make a huge difference. One of the biggest misconceptions many seniors face is the belief that intimacy is only possible in a romantic relationship. This couldn't be further from the truth. While a romantic partner can certainly enhance your sexual experience, intimacy doesn't have to be limited to that. Self-love, or engaging in masturbation, can be an equally important part of maintaining sexual well-being. Many people mistakenly believe that once they no longer have a partner, intimacy is something they should abandon. But self-care and self-love aren't just valid, they are healthy and necessary parts of staying connected to your sexual health. It's not about being alone in the sense of deprivation, it's about understanding that intimacy can take different forms, and one of those forms is honoring your body's needs in a way that feels good for you. So, what can you do if you're finding yourself in a similar position to Sophia, wondering how to keep intimacy alive in your life? First, recognize that it's okay to seek help and support. If you're feeling emotionally isolated, it's important to reach out. Stay in touch with family and friends who offer emotional support, and don't be afraid to express your needs. Additionally, support groups focused on aging and intimacy can be incredibly valuable. These groups provide a safe, non-judgmental space to talk about feelings of loneliness, intimacy, and how to navigate these changes in a healthy way. Engaging with a community that shares similar experiences can help you realize that you're not alone in your thoughts and feelings. And remember, nurturing relationships, even if they're not romantic, plays a huge part in maintaining your sexual health and emotional well-being. As we wrap up these important points, let's take a moment to reflect on the emotional impact of these changes. Intimacy is deeply personal, and navigating the shifts in your relationships, body, and emotions as you age is no small task. But by understanding these changes and taking proactive steps, you can ensure that your later years are just as full, meaningful, and satisfying as the ones that came before. It's completely normal to feel uncomfortable, uneasy, or even scared when thinking about the changes your body goes through as you age, especially when it comes to such personal topics like sexual health. We live in a culture that tends to shy away from these conversations, often making us feel as though we should avoid them. But here's the truth: facing these changes head-on is the first step toward managing them. It's okay to acknowledge that aging can feel intimidating or overwhelming at times. It's okay to feel uncertain. But by acknowledging the changes and understanding how they impact your life, you take control. You no longer have to feel like these changes are something happening to you. You can actively address them, making sure that you stay informed, prepared, and empowered. Instead of feeling trapped by fear or frustration, you now have the knowledge to approach these issues with care and confidence. These changes don't have to take away from the joy and intimacy you've always known. You have the power to redefine what a fulfilling life looks like as you age. Whether that's through better understanding your body, adjusting habits to suit your new needs, or engaging in open conversations with loved ones or healthcare professionals. This is your life, your health, and your journey. And with the right perspective, you can ensure that you, and the people you care about, continue to lead fulfilling, healthy lives well into your later years. If you've noticed any of these signs in someone you care about, whether it's changes in their sexual health, emotional well-being, or physical function, don't just ignore them. Reach out. Open a dialogue. Sexual health isn't a topic to shy away from, and it's just as important as any other part of aging. By starting a conversation, you can help break the silence, ease the discomfort, and encourage those you love to seek the help or advice they may need. It might feel awkward at first, but the first step is always the hardest, and it's the most important one. Whether it's your partner, a family member, or a close friend, offering your support can make all the difference in the world. Remember, aging doesn't mean giving up on your vitality, your desires, or your sense of intimacy. Yes, your body changes, but that doesn't mean you lose your ability to live a full and meaningful life. With the right care, the right mindset, and the right resources, you can maintain your emotional and physical health, keeping vitality alive in every area of your life. There's hope. You don't have to face these changes alone, there's support available, and it's never too late to make adjustments. So, keep moving forward with confidence and optimism. You can still enjoy a rich, rewarding life, filled with love, connection, and fulfillment. And that's something worth celebrating, at any age. To recap, today we discussed how aging can affect sexual health in different ways. From the physical changes that come with hormonal shifts, to the emotional impact that isolation and loss can have on intimacy. We explored the risks involved with certain medications and how chronic health conditions can impact your sexual function. We also covered the importance of recognizing the social dynamics that influence intimacy as we age. But most importantly, we highlighted the need to stay informed and proactive. Understanding these changes, rather than letting them take you by surprise, allows you to navigate this stage of life with confidence, care, and the right support. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these points have you noticed in your own life or in someone you care about? Maybe you've seen changes in yourself, or perhaps you've noticed a loved one struggling with some of these challenges. Comment below, and let's start a conversation about how we can all support each other as we age. Sharing your experiences can help others who may be going through something similar feel less alone, and together, we can find solutions and support. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about caring for yourself and your loved ones as we grow older, don't forget to subscribe to Elder Mature Moments. We share valuable tips on elderly care, health, and well-being, so you can stay informed and empowered. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It really helps us reach more people who might benefit from this information. Thank you so much for watching. Stay strong, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, aging is just another stage in life, and you're not alone on this journey. Together, we can navigate these changes with wisdom, care, and strength. Take care, and be well.